Hello, this is Johnny. I have people ask me that can you do a video from beginning all the way from beginning to the end. I know I am mostly my video in building up your own home system. I always started from the middle because this part to me is easy, but for beginner they need to have this video. So I went and go ahead and do a video, and this video is mainly talk about the hardware, what you need to buy, and what to expect on the pricing. I know a lot of people say go get a Raspberry Pi 4 because now it's kind of the the emulation station and everything is getting stable. Right now Raspberry Pi 4, they just released a beta version 4.6 of emulator station, and it's not too bad. Okay, and then you have another version I didn't know that I have, is Raspberry Pi 4 model 4B. Oh my, yeah, this is the one I bought. This is the fan, sorry. And then this one is Raspberry Pi 3B. So I'm going to do some comparison and let you see. Now this fan is supposed to work for both of them, so I want to see if it does. If it does, I might go ahead and get another one. This is roughly around $21, about $22. This one you're supposed to able to get it for $55, but after the tax and shipping, like shipping is like $4.95 and tax is about $5 something. So you're looking at another close to $64 roughly once you get it. And then you could get it from Amazon. If you have issue, you could return it, because Amazon, you have a good, I guess, 90 days if you have product issue, or a month, I don't know, I don't remember now. And so I got this one from Amazon, but it's $1 more, so I'm paying roughly about maybe $66 instead of $64 something. Okay, and then this is a Raspberry Pi 3B. Now this one is stable, have a lot of image that you could get, but something about Raspberry Pi that you need to know: it doesn't work 100% well with Dreamcast and some other arcade game like Atom Atomic and Sega Norman or something, and Sega CD is okay. Is not running 100%. It's running probably close to 98%, 99%. But if you have Neo Geo, full pack, why go into a Neo Geo CD? Because they're pretty much a similar game. Maybe one or two or three that is not in the Sega's, not Sega, Nintendo, not even Nintendo, Neo Geo set. Neo Geo CDs. Neo Geo CD run about 98% on the CD, but Neo Geo itself run good. Now PlayStation all run good on everything, even arcade stuff. So let's go ahead and open up and look at the differences between the Pi, this Pi and this Pi. Now everything first started, they say, oh, the personal memory card is very cheap, which is true, but after you finish putting everything together, you're looking around about 300 to 400, maybe up to 500, depending what you buy. If you buy best of all or SD card that is real big, then yeah, you're gonna look at very expensive. Everything add up. Okay, so don't let this fool you. People say, oh, go get a Raspberry Pi, it's only $35. Yeah, but then after tax and everything, you're still looking at $45, $48. And then this one is $55, but after tax and shipping, you're looking around $66, $68. So, and people want to make money, so the price will go up higher. Now I saw one from a full set from Derek Talk. He have a link where you buy everything all in one set, but after I break it apart, it's more expensive than buy it individually. So I bought this one and then this one. So we're gonna look at the Raspberry Pi 4B as well as Raspberry Pi. And then you also need a reader, and that will cost you another price range if you buy a card reader, SD card reader, meaning that a computer you cannot put in a tiny micro SD card because it won't read it. And you need something roughly close to 128 or higher. Anything smaller than that, you're not going to get the best out of it, because you're going to spend that much money as to put everything together. You might as well get something big. Okay, now, so let's go into this first. Okay, this one, when you buy it, you might say, okay, so what I do now? You need to buy a heat sink for this one especially, and then another one here, and then another one here. Okay, and you want to get a copper. And sometimes you don't need to put anything here, but if you use a lot of Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you know, this is Wi-Fi, this is Bluetooth, I believe, then you will have to add heatsink. What I did is just add heatsink, but that still doesn't do the trick. You have to add a fan, and that's what this came along. Okay, and this one's the best one right now for any cooling heatsink. Okay, they call it the ice tower cooling. This one's the best one of all, based on what I see from all the testing that they did on YouTube. I'll provide you the link as well, so you can look at it yourself. And then I bought this one. This one's supposed to be made for Pi 4. Okay, problem I always run into where Pi always run out of the lack of battery. Like you plug everything in and you say, oh, the battery is low voltage. Okay, so you have to buy a tester to test your voltage that going into Pi and make sure you have the 5.1 to 5.2 voltage going into the Raspberry Pi. Otherwise, you're going to have low voltage. If you plug in more stuff into here, it would take out the Pi's power, and then it's going to be low voltage, even though it says made for the Pi, the power, but still it's not powerful enough. Okay, so let's look at Raspberry Pi 4. I just got this from Amazon a week ago. I didn't get a chance to look at it. This is Pi 4, which is you want to get the 4B. Okay, now you might say, well, how do you know that you have the 4GB one? Okay, I don't know. I mean, it does say that it's Raspberry Pi 4B, but the question is, how do I know this is a 4GB? Say model 4, what the Raspberry 2018 was created. Pi 4B. I don't know. I never bought the other one, so I don't know. Does it actually say 4GB? I mean, I'm not the best of all hardware, but I do know that you do want to get a 4B, because 4GB one, because otherwise your system. Now this box never been opened, so let's look at the box, see if it actually say, yeah, it actually say 4GB, 4GB RAM. So this box never been opened, so I trust that is correct. I mean, see, so hopefully it is correct, but I don't see it on the board. Okay, all right. So it's telling you how to hold it, put it on something, don't touch the metal directly, you know, stuff like that. Okay, and this is the Raspberry Pi. They use the microSD card connector, like the one you use in, you know, Android's phone, and then this is the standard HDMI output. Now I was told that this one uses a different kind. Now this one is always going to overheat, so you have to put a bigger chips here, a heat sink, and then a fan. And so what I did is I bought this cooling fan. So right there, 55 plus 21, you still already up to 100, and then the power is about 20 something $. So you will, and then you need to buy SD card. So you're looking at around what, 100, 200 just to get this started. Okay, not even talking about joystick or monitor or the cabinet. You're gonna put in the big arcade cabinet or little tiny cabinet. So right here you're already looking at close to $200. Just like, for example, if you get a 256 gigabyte SD card, you're looking at what, $44, $41 for 256 gigabyte SD card. Like this one I just bought. This one is $48 right there. This is 25, so let's just say, what I say, 40, 45, 21, 66, 66, 70, 80, 81, and then 81, this is 60, so 140 right there, okay? And you even haven't talked about the copper, you know, the copper heating sink. Well, what, you know, probably $5, so 100, 150. Then you need some special adapter to plug into the TV. Like this one is using not a standard, using the using the C, and then using the micro SD. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this thing. It's first time looking at it. This is using a C, and this is using something else. This is using a HDMI, but I'm not sure what kind. I got the C power, but using some kind of so it's not the tiny. So this is the one cable. This is a C to HDMI. So this is not the correct cable. And then I bought this tiny one. This is HDMI, but it's a micro. And this one I think is a mini. See? See, this one is the mini one that convert to the regular standard one. But this is not the correct cable. So that means I can't hook this up until I go buy a special adapter. See, that's the problem. And then that adapter cable probably costs about $10 to $15. So, but you could get two of them plugged into two TV. That's one thing cool about this one. So if you have like a pinball game, you have two screens, you could use this functionality. But right now, Raspberry Pi doesn't support those kind of pinball game. Only Windows. So somebody just came out with a Windows 10, but it's a beta version. So if Windows 10 work, you can actually play the PC game on it. And that would be good, because then you could set up a pinball game with two monitors, you know, one plug into the main screen and the other one on the top. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, so this one you can't really do anything with it. And then this one is just a standard HDMI that goes directly plug into here. So right here you're looking about close to 150 to 160, because you have to buy extra cable for that and extra power for it. So, you know, and this is for Raspberry Pi 4 that you're looking at. And now with the image, because this thing will now support other different kind of game, that now you will have to buy a bigger SD card instead of the $45 256 gigabyte. You have to buy the $84. So if you was to set this up with the Raspberry Pi or the hard drive, you're looking about $200 just to get the hardware together and get the software. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you how to burn the image into the SD card, and then we're gonna put it into this one, since I cannot do anything with this one because I need a special cable for this, for HDMI. So the burning process is the same, because somebody told me I never did the how to build it from software point of view. So let's go ahead and head to the computer, and we could talk about where we could download. Now, where to buy this? Amazon right now is selling this Raspberry Pi 4B for $61. To me, that is the cheapest one I could find. It's only $1 more, but it's a free shipping. Now, Adafruit is selling for $55, but you have to buy up to a certain point of price to get a free shipping. Otherwise, you have to pay the cheapest shipping to United States is $4 and something. Okay, some of them is $10, $20 for shipping. So the price is going to go up. So I was thinking, well, I could get it from Amazon in 2 days, or now probably 5 days instead of 2 days, because of the virus going on. So that I tend to like, okay, you know. But I want to let's go ahead and do the software, and then I'll come back to this one. I want to see if this fan, it says it's supposed to work with both systems, for this one and that one. So I want to see if it works with this one. If so, I wanted to add it to my system. And here's all the tool and the plate and the bracket. So I'm going to put it all together. Okay, but let's go ahead and go to the software part, and I'll show you how. And it's pretty cool. It comes with its own screwdriver, so you could put this all together. And then the SD card. Okay, and the one I got is the one that everybody, most people recommend is this one, because it's cheap and it have the correct size of when you burn the image. Because if you use a different kind, even though it say 128 gigabyte, like 119 when you actually get it, the space is not big enough to burn a 128 gigabyte image into it, because it was fully full, and when you try to put it in, it won't work. So you run into that kind of problem. Okay, so I like to always get it directly from the Arcade Punk, because they able to give you they gave you the image. This is the one I recommend. I just recently got this because this one is not just, you know, it's 3. See the word number 3 on it, and perform is 30. This one, this is the first time buying this one. It's more expensive, but it's supposed to be, you know, the performance of the video is supposed to be better, you know. So I'm gonna see if this one runs smoother than the one before I used to get, the red one, the 128 gigabyte. I have a 256 somewhere, but I'm just using this to show you that this is the speed. It only have the one. Okay, so you could focus this. See, 1 and 1, and this is cheaper, but maybe like $3, $4 cheaper. But if I'm gonna pay $3 or $4 more only, I might as well get the better, you know, the better SD card. Okay. All right. So let's head down the computer, and I'll show you how to burn it. There's a lot of ways to burn this as well. But just letting you know, some people ask me, well, can you build one for me? You know, and I'll pay for. I said, do you know how much this thing is running you? This is not cheap. This is not a cheap product. I mean, it's nice to have it. You know, that's the reason a lot of people buy those retro from China. They're only like $70, $80. And then if you hack it, you could run all the games similar to this without having to buy all this extra stuff. All this extra stuff require, it's not that can you do without it. You have to get a heating. You know, you don't have to buy the fancy one, but with this one, you have to buy a fancy one because this thing overheat Raspberry Pi. This one you could get away with the heat sink and the fan. You do have to have fan. I recommend having fan always. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of case you have, you need to have a fan. Okay, you need a copper. Okay, heat sink copper and a fan. Okay, if you don't, you need to. I recommend you have to, because the system's going to overheat. That's the reason when people are selling those handheld ones, oh yeah, power inside, but it only have heat sink but no fan. That thing is going to heat up. Eventually your system's SD card is going to corrupt and your system's going to freeze up. So this go up here. So you do need to get this plus. I cut my own copper because I bought one was too big. So I cut it down. So that's why you can see this. I cut it down so it's that I could fit it in the back without taking too much of the space on the Pi itself. So that way, you know, it will fit on most of the case, but you still have a copper, you know, to cool it down. So, okay. All right, so let's go talk about, I think I pretty much covered the hardware part. A lot of people think that this is a way to go. It's true, you get all the emulator, you get all the image already pre-built for you. It look very pretty. That's the reason I mean, attracted my eye, the hyper spin and the motion blue and the track mode, you know, scrolling down the screen. I just fall in love with that. So I got into this 4 years ago, and I'm still, you know, play with it, and I'm still updating. And my SD card that I made copy, I have to format it because it's obsolete. They have a new image, new upgrade, so you have to go up to it. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the software other part, and then we could continue with the bun, and then we will put everything together and test it before we put it on the big screen to see everything work. And then once it works, then we put it into an arcade cabinet. All right. Hi, I forgot to mention some of the stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and do a video on doing this, and I'm gonna do a fast forward to speed up the process and stop at the important part. How to put this together so it will work on Raspberry Pi 4B, 4 gigabyte Raspberry Pi, and this one is a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Okay, the latest 3B Plus. Okay, for the 3B model. This is the 4B, the first model, and this is a 4 gigabyte, the highest one you could get. Okay, now I believe the software part is the one that once you boot up to it, it will tell you if it's a 4 gigabyte or not. Based on physical looking at the board, all the board is going to be a standard board, because they use the same board and just upgrade to like a. So at the end of the video, I'll tell you exactly which chips. I need to look at it closely. I can't see it from iPhone, and tell you how you could tell between the 4B 4 gigabyte. I think one of the chips probably tell you that, but let me look into it and I'll tell you. Now this one do not have the, you don't need to put any copper in the back. This is a 4B model, the latest one. Okay, you will put a big one here, so you don't really have to put any special one. With this cooling fan, you were able to put those thing in there, and those little tape is the what this is. Okay, so those of you who need to buy it, like if you buy a copper that doesn't have a sticky thing, you want to buy one of this, and it will help you put it together. If not, you could buy one of this. Okay, it look like it's made for where you could put the heatsink together. We normally use this for like computer and stuff like that. It's called SHIN something. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, and I'll try to find the link for it so you could get the, you could use this, but this is kind of messy, kind of sticky, but it works. And or you could just buy one that, like this one, I will have to put those special tape or that one over there. If you buy the one that already come with like this, okay, this is the best type to get, is the copper color, kind of gold color. See, I already put this little sticky thing back, so I just do it, peel it off and put it on it. Okay, and some of the one that already came with it, see that. Now this is the aluminum. Aluminum is not as great as copper. Copper tend to keep it cool longer than the other one. See, the silver and the black is all aluminum, but you want to get the copper one. Okay, so, and the one that you're gonna put, if you don't buy the fancy one, the heatsink over there, then you will have to put your own copper, because this one came with the copper itself under the system. So you will have to put one here, one over here, okay, and then one in the back. This is for the 3B plus. Okay, and if you want, you could put one here if you like. It doesn't hurt, but I normally just 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, that's where you put the, and then the SD card. Once you're ready, you put the SD card in after you burn the image. So we will do that later. Even though it's supposed to meant to be software, but you still have a lot of things involved in hardware to get it put together before you put the SD card in. So let's go ahead and finish this video by putting this fan together, and I'm going to fast forward it so we'll go quicker, and then I'll pause it down to normal, and we'll talk about how we actually put it on top of this thing. And then from there, you also need this special cable. We didn't talk about the power cable that we use for the 3B. The 4B is this one. I bought this one. This is the one that got a high rating on Amazon, and I will put that in the description as well, because it's very hard to find the correct one. This is a 5.1. okay, you need a voltage that is 5.1. okay, otherwise you will always get a voltage low in voltage. And when you're in a command prompt trying to run some command, you will see that you see a little on top of the left side screen, there's a little power voltage showing you that it's low. It's blinking on top of the corner right here when you're on the Raspberry Pi screen. And so you want to buy the correct one. And this one this says 5.1 voltage. Okay, so you do want to, and this is for the C connection, and you also have a power shut off. So I went and got this one for Raspberry Pi 4B. Now I went and got a real fancy one because I always get the voltage problem. So I went and got it from this company, and it said that it's supposed to have 1.5 voltage on it, and even it came with a fancy cover case. So, but the problem is the cable that came with is just a USB standard. So I had to get a converter to go into micro. I think this one is called anyway, the connection for that one is actually called the micro HDMI. Okay, for the Pi 4. This one, this connection is different. I think this one is the mini USB. I always get them. This is the mini USB that go here. This one is the little bit bigger, thicker. See that? This is the more of a micro connection, micro to HDMI. Okay, so it's micro connection, and this is the mini connection. This is the one you use for your iPhone mini connection, not iPhone but the Android. See, it go right here, and then you plug the power to here to power this up. I'll probably get a different, I have another one is made for Raspberry Pi. This one is just a ODB converter. It's not really made for power. Okay, so let me go ahead and start with that and fast forward it. And this power right here, let me show you the power. This is the description of it. Okay, so hopefully this is the right one. If not, I hopefully what it is. Okay, so it's a pretty big, but I'm getting tired. I'll keep on getting voltage, low voltage on my Raspberry Pi 3B plus. Okay, even though I bought the cable that came with it, but it still have issues. Alright, so I'm gonna do that. So those are a couple of things I didn't go over, and now I went over where you put the copper heatsink. Okay, so we're gonna put this together, and then we're going to continue, and then we will do the software. Okay, by looking into this little booklet, I just realized that I can't really follow this instruction. Here's number 1. So put the 1 on top next to the cable, and number 2 this way, facing this way. But apparently when you put it down, it didn't seem to work. Okay, so you will have to take everything apart again, which I just did, and trying to figure out which direction is the best for your system. So let me zoom in. So based on what I could see, sorry about that. Let me. Okay, so based looking at that, it looked like this need to be facing this one, number 1, instead of facing this way. Well, actually both sides have 1 on it. Okay, so you have to put it this way, away from this. There's a cable, there's that thing there, so well, that's not going to seem to work. So this is not the correct way to do this one. This one definitely is not this way. So let's try number 2. Let's see. Okay, number 2 seemed to work better. Okay, this way. And then this one would be, let's see if this one, nope, this one will not touch this way. So it will be this way. Alright. So the 1 need to go up here on top, and 2, no, I'm sorry, this is 1 and this is 2. Okay, and then you will have to face the fan blowing this way down like this. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like, but the cable is away from it. So let's see if it's long enough to plug it in. Black, red, no, you will have to face this way. Okay, because the cable is, you cannot plug it in, it's too short if you have it the other way. Okay, so yeah, so it's a little bit not as friendly as that, because I was thinking the fan will be, but see, now the problem is if I put it this way, it's going to block the GPI pin. So that's not good. So you might have to take this cable out and adjust the cable to the other side, because the fan definitely have to be on this side, otherwise it won't reach the cable. See the red, let me see if I go underneath it. Let's plug into port number 1. Okay, if I go underneath it, it will plug in. The black one is okay, I can reach to the back. Let me turn this around. Okay, so black one I could plug it into this pin, this pin, this pin is good. The red one is the one with a little bit issue, because the cable is on this corner right here. So you have to go underneath the bottom to plug it into the front. Okay, or you could take this cable out and flip it to this side, which probably be better because that way it will be longer. So you take this thing out, oh, this screw is too small, and flip it a little bit this way on this side instead of this side. Okay, otherwise you will have to, I'm sorry, you will have to flip this cable on this corner to this side, so that way you don't have to go underneath. But I guess it doesn't hurt to go underneath and plug it in this way like this. So just have to take those four and flip it up this way, have this be on this side, So that way when you flip it over, this cable on this side will easier to reach on this side without that extra missing. Okay, so this is how you put for Raspberry Pi 4. Now let's check to see Raspberry Pi 3 had the same kind of issue or not. Okay, so let's see if it's the same direction or not. So if I put Raspberry Pi there, that will work. And number 1, okay, so they both will be in the same direction will work. Okay, so you can have it face the same direction. It's just the fan need to move from here to here. All right, so let me continue on and go forward on this. So that means this fan cannot face, because if you face this way, let me show what I'm saying. If you face this way, you're blocking the pin. See that? So you have to face this way. Okay. All right, so let's see if we could continue and fast forward this. Okay, so my advice to you is that while ago I went and screwed this piece right here into the plastic, but then if you do that, you won't be able to tie this with this piece to get this piece with this piece together. So I went and took it off again, and then I hand tied this with this piece. Okay, this metal it moved back and forward because there's only one screw, so this, by screwing to the board, it stabilized the movement. But there's one thing I forgot to put this thing between the metal, which is something that I should have done. So I had to take this off again and put this between it to keep it you know, cool and stick together. So I need to take this out again. And I went and moved the fan. Originally the cable was on this side, and then I had to go underneath. So what I did is I flip it, you know, clock direction from here to here, and then screw those 4 screws back on. And then coming over here, they suggest you use pin number 1 or number 2. I mean pin number 2 or number 4. Okay, so 1 is on this side. Let me use okay, the way that they count it is they look at it like this way. Okay, 1 is on top. Okay, one is on top, and there's 2, and then there's 3, 4, 5, 6. They recommend using 6 as a ground, and 2, those 2 first, this 2 close to the right side of the screen, or close to the outside. They recommend using those 2, but the problem is 5 and 6 are the one I use for, 5 and 6 are the one I use for shutdown. Okay, so I cannot use, they recommend using this one, either 1 or 2, which I have no problem, I'm not using those. But the 5 and 6, they want you to use 6 for ground, but the problem is 6 and 5 are the one I use for power safety shutdown, you know, the script. So 5 and 6 cannot be used. Okay, well, definitely number 6. They recommend use number 6. So what I'm going to use is number 9. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so the other side is the odd number, and the other side is even number. So if you count, I'll keep on having that fan blocking it. If you count it down, it would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, 9 right here. And let me count. We taking this off. Okay, so if you count based on our number, you have 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 9 is plugged in. So 9 is grounded, and so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 I don't want to use. 7, 8, and then 9. So 9 is grounded, and I could either use number 1 for 5 volt or number 2. Doesn't matter. So I'll go ahead and use number 1. Okay. So now the cable is wrapped around this instead of have to go underneath like last time with the red. So this is a better setup if you're going to have a 5.6 for GPI load shutdown, for safety shutdown. Okay, so I just want to go over that with you, how to go about, and then you put once you finish, and you put this on top like so, and then you screw this in here. Okay, now you can see the bottom. Okay, this is Raspberry Pi 4B. Okay, so since this will work for 4B, because I was concerned that will this cause me to have problem, because they recommend it. Then here's the paper. They recommend that we use the, yeah, we're looking at the right direction. Yeah, okay. All right, they recommend using number 6 as ground right there, and then using either 2 or 4. So you count this side. So number 9 is ground right there. See number 9. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I use number 9, and I use number 1. Okay, for the fan. Okay, so the black is the ground. But I want to use the 5 and 6 for the special shutdown. 5 and 6. So I'm not touching the 5 and 6. Because if you look at the, I think the picture, see they have the fan facing this way too. You don't want to face the where GPI pin is. It will block the fan float. Okay, they tell you, it is pretty good booklet. It tell you what you're supposed to get, and they give you extra stuff, so you're not going to run out of stuff. Like for example, they say you're supposed to get 3 of this, but you have 4. Okay, see right there I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then by putting all this together, I still have 3 extra screw, 3 extra one, and then 1 nut and 1 of the red one. So those are the extra. Actually, I wonder why they gave me 3, because they only told me to put 1 sticky thing in there. Okay, but over here I still have that 4 screw behind here that's supposed to go underneath the plate to hold this plate up like this. Okay, so it's pretty, the way they have it done is pretty good. So if you put this on the RK 1-up and make it to a Raspberry Pi, you don't need a case. You just put that on top of the wood. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, so let's look at this. Why do we need those three sticky thing if it's only, okay, so you do put 1 over here, unless you have space to, I don't think you have space to put another copper. Well, you could put a copper. Based on looking at this, you could have space to put a copper one on top of here, and then maybe some space for that one as well, and also over here, the little one right here. So they gave you like 1, 2, 3, or 4 extra ones. So you could actually put more protection on it if you want to, you know. So okay, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see. Well, I'll have to take it out anyway, so I'm gonna see if I could do that. But Well, they actually did not say you have to use 5 and 6, but based on a lot of people I've seen the video, they always use either 2 or 6, because this 2 cable is separate. It's not like they stuck together. If they're stuck together, then you have to use the 2 and 6, but they're separate, so which is good. So you could put it in any pin you want. You don't have to stick with the 2 and see, based on this picture, they put it like real close to each other. Okay, but you don't have to. Fine. See, they put it real close together in the front. Okay, so let me see if I take this out, if I could add more heatsink to it. I'm not familiar with the Pi 4B. So based on the video, and when they do the video test that I see, they did not add any other copper on this. They just put this in and did the test, and the test went well. You know, they didn't add anything over here. But I imagine you could, but it's not, I guess it's not necessary. But let's go back, let's go to the Pi 3B. This is Pi 4. So it worked with Pi 4, and this is Pi 3B. Okay. So let's put this on to the Pi 3B, but you have to put a sticky thing over here. Now I know you do need to put one over here. So, and by putting one over there, I don't think it will create a problem. No, it doesn't. So you could, technically speaking, this would be overkill, that would be overkill, because those not really necessarily need to be a copper. Like this one would be a good one for the back. So for Raspberry Pi, I recommend put this in the back, and I already have a sticky thing on it. Let me fast forward this so you don't have to watch me do all this. Okay, I got the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus in here. By putting a luminant on top, it do not interfere the process of putting the fan in here. It's just fine. The only one I see a problem was this Bluetooth, but since we don't use Bluetooth a whole lot unless you use the Bluetooth controller, so it's not really necessary, because I haven't heard anything about Bluetooth that will get overheated. And then I put that little pink sticker on both sides. You peel both sides off, one, and then you tape it and you peel the other side. That's what I did. And you put it between this thing, so it will hold this together. And so then the fan, I rotate it like I told you last time, so it's closer to the pin. And I recommend using either pin 1, it's easier to remember that's the power, just use pin 1, and then use pin 9, because you want to leave pin 5 and 6 alone so you could do a shutdown button. So it'll be 1, counting this way, it'll be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, okay, right there. Okay, and then so that would be for the fan. Okay. And to test this real quick, just to see if a fan works, we are going to plug the power in. And let's plug the power in and see if this thing actually works. So this one came with a pretty good length of cable. So let's plug this in, and I always like to have a switch where you could actually turn it off without to unplug the power every time to unplug it. So let me go ahead and plug this in. And right now the Pi does not have any memory or SD card or nothing into it. I'm just testing the fan, see if it works. Alright, so we're going to plug, oh, this is not the correct power. This one is actually Pi 3. But okay, let's go ahead and test it with Pi 4. So we just unplug this, unplug that, and let's plug it to number 1 and number 9, I mean. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so the fan is on this Pi, but we're gonna test the, because I need to get the adapter for the Pi. So let's put this underneath here so I won't be touching it when I power it up. This is for the Pi 4 power, but we want to see if a fan works over here. Okay. You see the light come up right here, and I don't see the fan spinning yet. I might have to maybe have the Raspberry Pi SD card put in just to see if it works. But by just plugging the power, because the GPI requires special program, so the fan is not going to spin until it's configured. So forget that. Forget about testing it like that. Alright, so let's turn it off. Alright, let's go to the computer and get this configured so we could test the fan. Make sure the fan works. Since I do not have the correct connection, I just order it. It will be here tomorrow, so I will test that tomorrow with Pi 4, and I'll go ahead and order another fan for that one. And so we don't need any of this other stuff, okay, because for Pi 4 only the little one, in case you want to put one over here. And I recommend putting, I think there's total of 4 that you could put in, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. That they recommend putting the heatsink. So if you are wondering which one should you put in, you could put one here and one here and one here. But since the fan will cover both of them, you don't have to put anything here, but you do need to put 2 over here. So you will put one over here like so, and a little one right here, and that thing should not interfere it, because we already tested out by putting on the Pi 3. See the heatsink, the silver one up there, you see, did not interfere the, let me get a, see that one did not interfere this. So by you putting those 2 little heatsink underneath, it actually is, it will be good for it, and it doesn't interfere with this cooling fan. Okay, they call this ice cooling fan. All right, so you could put one over here, and now this one you probably, they don't. Now if you buy the heatsink for Raspberry Pi, they do come with a smaller one that you could actually, but it doesn't hurt by putting a big one there as well. It won't hurt anything because they both are the same height. So you could just see that they're both the same height. If you look at it, so it don't hurt anything by putting them like this, and then you will put that cooling fan in there. Alright, so I will go over that again just to cover that later on. So we're going to continue with Raspberry Pi 3B, and we're going to go ahead and put an image in here, and we're going to put it on pin number 1 and pin number 9, which is I think it's like 5th down, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So it's on the one close to this side, because the one close to that side is odd number, and the one close on this side is the even number. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, let's use the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 9 and 1. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and go burn the software for the Raspberry Pi 3B, and then we go ahead and then we will put it in and set it up and see how it goes. So that's pretty much the setup for the hardware to get it ready. Raspberry Pi, the SD card will go in this way. The direction you go in will be facing, let me get the Raspberry Pi. So if you was to use the SD card, your SD card is facing this way when you put it into the computer, but when you take it out, it's facing the, I believe, facing the opposite direction. Let me try it. Yeah, it's facing this way, facing up. Okay. I mean, it's facing down toward the floor, right? But you could still reach it. See that? So it's pretty cool. So the case is not interfering you put it in and take it out, and it give it some space so it won't, you know, have some air space, which is good. So this one is pretty nice. I like it. This case with the heatsink. Then you could put this on to RK1up in the back. You don't have to have special stuff. And then we're going to install the upgrade software, so we'll make this even better in heating, cooling down the system. And so let's go through the software. I got all the hardware I need to cover that I thought I covered. That's why I went back and revisit this to show you how to put this together. Now you're gonna plug this to the TV, so you're gonna use the regular cable to plug this in, okay, like HDMI connection, and this is where you're gonna plug in the power. Those of you are not familiar with, and you don't need this, but if some TV that does not have a amplifier, you will plug this to amplifier, okay, even though you're using this, but you plug this to amplifier and you can adjust the amplifier. So that's what this is for the amplifier. Those of you who monitor doesn't have a speaker, then this will have no sound, so you will need this, and you will set it up to use the audio 3.5 audio. Instead of HDMI audio, you use the 3.5 audio to the amplifier. And then here you don't really do anything unless you are using the pin 5 and 6 for the shutdown button to push to shut down, safety shutdown, and then you would need that. Other than that, you don't need anything. And then up here you will have port to connect to your, like for example, trackball and spinner. One port you need, and then controller 1, controller 2 for joystick 1, joystick 2. And if you need keyboard, you plug it in and you can use the keyboard. And then if you want direct network connection, you plug it here to go faster. If you transfer in ROM from the network, you use this direct connection to transfer. It will go faster. If you not, you can use Wi-Fi, which is a little bit slower. But so whenever I'm transferring ROM to my SD card, if I'm building my own image, but if you have image already pre-built, you don't need this. You just plug it in, everything should start working. You just have to do some minor setup, and I'll show you that when we do the software. All right, let's go to the software. It looks cute. I like it. All right, let's go to software.